Howdy ho, you handsome hunk. Grab a snack and gain some chunk. If your day is great or really sunk, we hope to help you shake the funk. So if you're good to hear some junk, buckle up, it's the Junk Monk Podcast. Hello and welcome to the Junk Monk Podcast. I'm your host Kandyce Sloan, who you know from Instagram at Hardens and Hardhats.
And I'm Noah, your co-host, who is in season 8.
If this is your first time listening, let us fill you in. We are watching and reviewing every episode of the USA hit TV show Monk right here each week.
And we're going to do so while eating a little bit of junk. So, me and Kandyce are getting our junk delivered.
By Tobias. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited because I'm a little chilly and it's something a little toasty. So, also, you must know I've seen every episode of Monk. I'm a huge fan, started watching in 2007, and for the most part watched it as it aired.
I've seen seasons 1 and 2, and those we've done on the show, and a few scattered here and there in different seasons.
So, if you're ready to start the show, Toby, take it away.
Here's what happened.
All right, guys. This is season 8, episode 1,
Oof.
Mr. Monk's favorite show. So here's what happened. In the opening scene, we see Natalie and Mr. Monk awaiting the arrival of one of Adrian's favorite Hollywood actresses, Christine Rapp, at a local bookstore. Meanwhile, across town, Christine is answering press questions when her car suddenly explodes with her remote control starter. Monk, devastated that Christine doesn't appear at the signing, gets a surprise when he is put on her case and then is asked to be her bodyguard. He has a blast hanging with Christine as they watch the show that made her famous, Adrian's favorite, The Cooper Clan. Then another attack on the actress, an ominous note written in lipstick on her bathroom mirror. Monk recognizes the handwriting but can't remember where from. Suspicions land on a Cooper Clan co-star, but he's off the hook after Christine shoots a man that confronts her while she's checking into a motel. The man, Victor Timlinson, seems to have no connection to the actress other than a signed portrait. Then, while Monk is watching some more Cooper Clan, he spots the handwriting. Christine's character wrote on her own arm cast, left-handed, and the lettering was identical. Upon searching Timlinson's apartment, Monk finds some old Silver Globe voting ballots. It turns out that Timlinson had worked for the company in charge of the Silver Globe ballots, and Christine had paid him to rig the tally in her favor. He was now coming back for more money with her new book deal success. Trying to protect her name, or what's left of it, she killed Timlinson in cold blood. Monk solves the case and lets go of his love for the crazy actress and his favorite show. All right, that was Mr. Monk's favorite show.
Kandyce, what did you like about this episode?
All right, Monk is so excited. He's at the very beginning of the episode. Him and Natalie are sitting outside this bookstore, and he just wants to be first in line. Natalie, I'm gonna be first. Mr. Monk, there's 2 people in line. Yeah, but I'm second, so I'm last in line. She's like, no, Mr. Monk, I'm warm. I'm over this heating grate. I'm not moving. Get over it. And we learn, of course, that he's obsessed with this show. He's obsessed with this actress, and it's really fun to see how excited he really is about this.
I agree. He's just so freaked out. There's 2 people in line. But he's last.
Him and Natalie.
I loved how Monk, as a kid, was never alone. Because, I mean, he went through a very, very, very rough childhood. We know that about Monk. But he had the Cooper Clan, which is also one of my dislikes.
Oh, great. Okay. After the opening credits, we see Monk going to town with this guy, this trivia guy. And it is so funny. And they're like, I guess it opens and they're already like quizzing each other. And Monk is like asking him super specific questions like, what is the name of the school on the plaque outside?
And
like,
what year was it built?
Yeah, what year was it built? I don't know. That 1968. And what color is the telephone in the living room? And the guy kind of like glances down, yellow, and he's like, he looked at the lunchbox. Natalie, he looked at the lunchbox. You saw him. What's the score? And he's like, Mr. Monk, I'm not keeping score. There's no score. And then he's like, okay, one last question.
For the game.
What is the name of the babysitter? And he's like, Daisy Green, of course. And he's like, no, she got married in the series finale. So her name was Daisy Green. I said is, Natalie. You heard me. I said is. I definitely said is. That is so cute. And then he goes to the guy. He's like, look, he's looking at his book. Oh, he's got his little book. Look at his little book.
Monk's, this is my next like, Monk's, all of his information that he has from everything, you know, like you just said, he knew every little small detail, and he's only seen the show once.
Oh, I know.
No reruns, nothing.
Oh, I guess you've never missed a rerun. No, I just remember, I don't even know what he says to that. She says, let me guess, you've never missed a rerun.
Pretty sure he's like, there are reruns or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember what he says, but she's like, wait, you've seen them one time 35 years ago? He's like, oh, they're great. And he's so, that's another like, but he's so happy when he's with the actress on the couch and watching the show with her. And the episodes they're so 70s and so, you know, corny or whatever you want to call them. But yeah. And he still just cracks up laughing at him. It's so cute.
I liked how Monk, like you said, got to hang out with his favorite actor. And, you know, he was her security guard. Yeah. He got to protect her. And he was like, I'm part of the Cooper clan, Natalie. Yeah. That was so cute.
He was so happy. Whenever he meets her, she's like laying on that gurney. Mm-hmm. And he's like, he's like, don't worry. I'm not obsessed. I'm not a craze fan or anything. But I am just so happy to meet you. And then at the end, they're like, oh, could you please, you know, be her bodyguard? She would love that. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yes. And then, like, it cuts to him just by himself. And he's like, I made it. I'm in the Cooper clan. And has a big smile on his face. Oh, man, it's so sweet. So, yeah, he's in the Cooper clan.
Oh, my gosh. Do you remember when he was like, when the lady asked him if he wanted to be the bodyguard, she was like, 1,000 per week. And he's like, okay, but I can't pay it all up front. No, we'll pay you.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. That's better. Oh my gosh. Okay, we have Randy's ambidextrous theory. So, right, the lipstick is written. It's kind of written, obviously, like someone's trying to hide what their real handwriting is. Yeah. And so they're all looking at it in the police station, and Randy's like, yeah, I bet he wrote it left-handed. And Natalie's like, yeah, that makes sense. It's like, or if he was left-handed, he wrote it right-handed. You're like, that makes sense. Or if he's ambidextrous, he probably got drunk and wrote it. That makes less sense. You almost had it, Randy. You almost had it. You were so close. It was almost a good theory.
That makes just a little less sense. I love the arm cast clue. Yep. It was kind of plot holy, but you know, it was a cool way for Monk, you know, to put his smarts about the Cooper clan to good use and figure it out.
That's true. That is really true. And it is a really good catch. We had a similar one. I was thinking about it. We had a similar one in the baseball episode. Mr. Monk goes to the ball game where remember Dwight Schrute is on there. Rainn Wilson, he's on there. And he's like, I've seen that guy before. I've seen that guy. And then they show him on the TV and he's catching the foul ball. And so it kind of reminded me of that. But it was even better in this episode, though, because you couldn't remember a face, right? Like, oh, I've seen that guy. But you remember somebody's handwriting. You know what I mean? Like, remembering their handwriting on the show is much better than just like, oh, I've seen that guy on TV. You know? Mm-hmm. So I thought it was even better. I really liked that also. Of course, we have Monk reading the book. He reads the book, and he's like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. Natalie. She's like, yeah. What are you drinking? She's like, tea? Is it hot? Yeah. Pour it into my eyes. And he's like, oh, my God. I can't believe that. Wait, where's page 73? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, maybe it fell out. He's like, pages don't just fall out. Where is it? And she's like, Mr. Monk, it fell out. He's like, wait a second. And then he grabs behind her back. She's like, no, Mr. Monk, no. And he's like, give me the page. Give it to me. It's my book. And she's like, no. Oh. She eats it. She's like, it's for your own good. And then we see the next scene where Monk is giving this Christine Rapp the death glare. Mm-hmm. Like, you are disgusting. And Stottlemeyer's like, oh, he read the book. Yeah. And she's like, yeah. He's like, what about page 73? She's like, I ate it. He's like, good.
Everyone knows about page 73.
It's so bad.
My next like is before Monk actually read the book, so he does not know anything about the list.
Oh,
right?
God, yeah.
And Monk says, this is at the scene after, she's nearly killed. Monk says, I can't believe somebody tried to hurt her after she brought so much love to so many people. And Natalie and Randy are like, we know. We saw the list.
Oh my gosh, yep. Yeah, okay, so I have some more from whenever the scene where after he reads the book, right? And they're at the crime scene where she shot the guy, and they're trying to figure out, how do you know this guy? Mm-hmm. And he's giving her this stank eye, and she's like, I really don't know. Like, well, he has a signed photo of you, so you know him somehow. And she's like, I mean, honestly, I've signed a lot of things. And Monk's like, I bet you have. And they're like trying to get out of her, like, no, really, you don't recognize him at all. And she's like, I meet a lot of people. And he's like, yeah, we read the book. And then, those are the funny parts. But then I actually really liked the scene where, again, I think this is showing Monk's like kind of growth. I don't know. But whenever she, walks up to him and she's still being her flirty self. And she's like, Mr. Monk, I'm lonely. Mm-hmm. I'm just a girl. And aren't you ever lonely? And he's like, you ruined this show for me. And she says, will you forgive me? And he's like, no.
Dang, yeah.
And so, yeah, it was a funny scene. Then it turned really sad really quick. But again, Monk kind of growing, getting to tell people off, that hurt him and stuff. And so, yeah, good scene.
I like that. My next is Shucky Darn.
Oh, Shucky Darn. Say it. You say it. I'm not saying
he's like 40. He's like, say it, go on, say it.
That is so sad. That is a sad.
I think I recognize that actor. Wait, let me look that up.
Okay, do you have the surprise alert warning?
No. Surprise alert warning?
What is she surprising him with? Oh, Natalie. This whole scene is really good, too. She is being really sweet, and she is surprising him with, they're going to watch the Cooper Clan, a little marathon, and she's learned the theme song, and she sings it, and she gets him his favorite snack with his crackers and his apple juice. But before that, he's sitting in his chair, and she's like, Mr. Monk, I know how you hate surprises, so this is a surprise alert. And he's like, whoa. You can't just run in here saying surprise alert. I need like a warning. And she's like, okay, this is the surprise alert warning. Surprise alert. Okay, now here's the surprise. It's like, okay, I can handle that. I can handle a surprise alert as long as it comes with a warning of the surprise.
Okay, I think I'm done.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I have two more things. One is really big. So, I know you haven't heard our episode, mine and Denise, when we did all of the summations, right? So we did a whole Here's What Happened episode where we talked about all the summations, not all of them, but most of the summations in Monk, right? Mm-hmm. And we ended with our top list of our favorite summations. Yeah. This was one of my top, 3, I think. The summation where Monk is back in time, or he's in the 70s and he's passed out and having this whole fantasy dream. So all that to say is this is one epic summation. I love this one. This is so funny, and it's such an endearing scene because this is wish fulfillment. Mm-hmm. This is he's having a lucid dream, wish fulfillment dream, because he's in the Cooper clan, and the little girl's like, oh, everything's always about Adrian. And then Adrian walks in, he's got his fro, he's got his bell bottoms on, and he shuts the door behind him, and everyone's like, yeah, and
it's for so long.
It is so good.
Uncomfortably long.
It was 35 seconds.
Oh my god! You timed it too.
Yes, I did. 35 seconds of cheering, and he just has that smile, and he's like, "Guys, stop! That's enough."
They always do that for guest stars.
I wanted to look up what the longest one ever is. They keep track of stuff like that. The longest, actual real clapping or whatever. Because they have to cut them in real life. They have to cut them down whenever they keep cheering for a guest star. Or they'll have to do another take of it. so that it cuts the live studio audience out. But anyway, so yeah, 35 seconds of that. But the whole summation is so good. He gets all this applause and he goes over to his dad and he gives him a hug and they're like, "Aww."
Yeah.
And they do a hug and then he switches sides. He switches shoulders and like, "Aww," again. And they're like, "Okay." And then Monk starts having, this is the part I'd call like lucid. Like it's like wish fulfillment and then it's like a lucid dream where he's like,
controlling it.
Yeah, where he's like, wait, I know what happened. This is your silver globe. He's like, all the trophies, like, all your trophies? All your football trophies? And he's like, no, not my trophies. Her trophies, the silver globes. And then he's like, here's what happened, and you did all this. And she's like, the DA's going to laugh you out of his office.
She's like 6.
Like, you can't prove that. It's so good. I love that. I like that. And then all the other little kids, because the parents are like, Janie, murdering is never the answer. She's like, I didn't, I swear. And then all the other ones, the other kids are like, what about us? And then he's like, it's not just her. This whole family is wacko. She had a baby with him. And she's like, well, I never got any child support. And he's like, how do I even know that kid is mine?
They're all like 12.
Yeah, and then the little boy, the Shucky Darns boy, he's like, what about me? He's like, oh, you got hooked on crystal meth. This is the only gig you ever had. He's like, oh, Shucky Darns. Oh my gosh, that whole scene is just chock full of greatness. I love it. One of my, as you guys know, and if you don't, go check out our summation episode because it's really good, but one of the most epic summations. And then my final thing is when Monk returns the book. At the end, that whole scene's really good too. He goes to return the book, and there's a little sign that says "No questions asked." And he's like, "Okay, I'd like to return this." And he's like, "Okay." And he's like, "Anything wrong with the book?" And he's like, "Yeah, she's a whore." And she killed someone. Oh yeah, that too. It's so blunt from Mr. Monk. It is hilarious. I know it's a bad word. Sorry for listening with the kiddos. But that is so blunt and so funny from Monk. I can't believe he said that. And then the guy's like, okay, well, and he goes, well, actually, remember before when I said you could keep the change? Could I get that back? And he's like, do you remember how much it was? And he's like, 12 cents. It's like, sure. And then he gives it back. And then the guy's like looking through the book and he's like, hey, what happened to page 73? And he's like, it's there. And he's like, no, this is from a different book. And he reads a passage from it or whatever. And he's like, yeah, that's Charles Dickens. It's a classic. It's even better now. And he's like, no, you can't. He's like, hey, I believe the sign says no questions asked. And then they walk outside and Monk is all disappointed. Like, oh, I don't have a family anymore. And Natalie's like, that's not true. I'm your family. Julie, the captain, Randy, we're all your family. And he's like, yeah, but you don't say funny stuff. She's like, okay. He's like, say something funny. She's like, well, I can't just say something funny. And he's like, see? And she's like, oh, wait, I got it. Knock, knock. That's not funny. Okay, that's my last like.
Oh wait, I just thought of one while you were talking.
Okay.
There's this book in the this guy and he has a really messy house. It's the guy who's a nobody who was killed.
Yeah. Victor Timlinson.
Yeah, really messy house, and they're looking around and they're looking for anything out of the ordinary. And he sees this book and it says Introduction to Home Decor or something, or Interior Decorating or something. And Monk goes, I don't think so.
I didn't even catch that. What? That's so good. I did not even catch that. What a good catch by you and Monk.
It's so funny.
That's
like,
good. I don't think
so.
Oh, that's good. Oh, you know what? I also like the part where they knock on the guy's door and Natalie's like, yeah, I guess nobody's home. And he's like, yeah, he is single and dead. And she's like, oh yeah. That's good.
Okay, are you ready for dislikes?
I am.
What did you dislike about this episode?
Okay. The ick factor.
Yeah.
Over the whole episode, the fact that this woman is just so sexualized, it just has this whole blanket over the whole episode. And I was like 100% with Natalie, or whenever they meet her, and he's like, Monk wipes off his hands, and he's like, I'm keeping this forever. And then she's like, why? And he's like, yeah, whatever. And then so Christine reaches out her hand, and Monk is like, Natalie, shake her hand. Like, go ahead. And she's like, okay. And she shakes it a little bit, and then she grabs Mr. Monk's wipe and wipes it off. And he's like, why are you wiping? And she's like, I'll tell you later.
I did not notice that.
Yeah.
I did not notice that.
I was 100% with her, though, because she, like, touches her hand, like, barely, and then she's like, okay, wipes it off. Yeah, so anyway, so the whole ick factor just over the whole episode, it's, because obviously, like, it wasn't anything that was too bad, it's just that it was, like, because it was all funny, like, innuendo, but just the way that it made you feel, like, you know what I mean? As we talk about it, it's really funny, but when you're watching it, you're like,
you're uncomfortable.
You're uncomfortable, and this lady's like, ew, it's just gross, so.
The jokes just weren't enough to break it. It was...
Maybe they just did too good of a job of, like, casting that lady, like, she was...
being a gross lady,
as being a gross lady, and, like, I do have some funny lines, though. When Natalie's looking at the book, she's like, oh my god. And she's like, look at this is disgusting. And Randy's like, is that a typo? And Natalie's like, oh, look, there's a list. And he's like, Cheech, Chong, Cheech and Chong? And he's like, what the heck? Is that even possible? And then, I had the one where she brought happiness to so many people. And she's like, yeah, there's a list.
Okay, my first dislike is Natalie's hair.
Oh,
I look forward to Natalie's hair every season.
I know. I was gonna see if you caught it, and you totally did.
It was not it.
It was not it. No.
It was the like bull. What even was it?
It's like a bob kind of.
Yeah.
It
was not it.
No, I know. It's sad. That's R.I.P. Natalie's long, beautiful hair. I know. I totally saw that too. I actually put the scene, it was cringy when Monk is talking to Billy Cooper. And
it was the worst.
It was so bad because he's sitting there as a suspect of the crime.
Yeah.
And he's like, this guy, he messed with the wrong family. Yeah. We're going to find him. Me and the captain are going to work on this. And then of course he's saying like, say Shucky darn, say it. And he's like, no, like, leave me alone. And then Stottlemyre like reads all the things that he said, like, she's a loudmouth and a tramp. And I hate her. And he's like, how could you say all of that? That was your sister. And he's like, she was a loudmouth and a tramp and I hate her. Again, everything has funny parts, but there's just some like sprinkled like, and this is my next one, is the feeling the whole time that Monk doesn't know what's in the book. Mm-hmm. Like, you just feel bad, like, because you know he's going to be disappointed once he figures, you know what I mean? So like, again, it's one of those times where Monk is super, super happy and you already know that he's going to be devastated later. You know what I mean? Whereas other times where he's happy, like, say, for the bully example, he's happy, like, we don't really see that ending. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, at the very end, very, very end, you realize, like, oh, the bully wasn't the murderer. He goes home happy with his wife. And it's kind of an afterthought, like, oh, yeah, nothing really happened to the bully. So Monk, his giddiness was for nothing. But throughout that episode, you're not thinking, like, he's going to be disappointed later. Yeah. You're like, he is so happy. This one, you're like, oh, he's so happy, but this lady is a terrible, terrible person. So, again, there's just big ick gloom over the whole thing. So.
Mm-hmm. I agree. The Cooper clan doesn't stay... Like I said earlier in my likes, Monk had the Cooper clan with him his entire childhood, which kind of helped him, Mm-hmm. And they ruined that. And it's gone.
Yeah. I know.
Like, unliked.
Yep.
Ugh.
I put, as funny as it all was, at the end, Monk's favorite show is ruined. Mm-hmm. I can't even.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I put another thing from the gross lady. Mm-hmm. When this is when Monk is hanging out with her, right? And Christina's like actually super annoyed with Monk. Like, can we do something else? I'm bored, whatever. And then she's going to get changed. And so she's like, oh, do you want to come with me? And he's like, I don't, that's kind of inappropriate. And she's like, oh, you're shy. I like that in a man. Oh, yeah. And she walks off and her assistant's like, she likes anything in a man. It's a good one. It's so bad. It's like so ick, but then all the one-liners are like so funny. So yeah. And then I also have the bad stunt double wigs. Do you remember?
Oh, when Natalie and her wrestling.
Yeah, when Natalie's wrestling, the stunt double has a really bad wig. It actually, like, her body shape or body type wasn't that bad. Perfect. Yeah. I mean, I didn't notice.
But her wig was, like, falling off. And like,
yeah, it needed to be brushed or something. I don't know. And then, are you done or do you have any more?
I have one more.
Okay.
The overall, like, a lot of what's bad about this episode, you just can't really put into words. Like, a lot of it, it's just, the vibe is just, like, weird. The entire episode. And that's, like, the biggest thing for me. That's it.
Well, see, I put ick factor, and then that's my overarching, like, that feeling that you have. It's, like, all kind of sort of inappropriate. So you're like, oh, this is, like... I rewatched it, and I had a better time watching it without you.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't worried about, like...
What the frick was gonna happen?
Yeah, is Noah gonna think this is funny? Or is he gonna think this is, like, inappropriate or weird? Like the naked man thing, kind of. Yeah. Where you're like, I don't know if he's gonna think this is funny or not. And then at the end, you're like, this is so inappropriate. And I'm like, okay, yeah, he's probably gonna think this is inappropriate. But my other thing I was gonna say is that this episode lasted forever. It lasted so
I just wanted it to end.
It was so long. And when I watched it again, I paused it at the same time we paused it here. And I was like, this is the mark. 12 minutes left of the episode. And you're like, how is there 12 minutes left? Yeah. How is there 12 minutes left? Like, whereas other episodes, you're like, that was it?
Yeah.
That went by so fast.
I just wasted an hour of my life. Yeah.
This was so slow and weird. So,
yeah.
That's my last dislike, though.
He's the guy. I have one.
You do? Okay. Oh, well, I have a bunch.
Oh, of course you do.
So, I know you won't have this first one for sure. This is Timlinson. He is played by Tony Dono. I looked him up because I needed to know his name. Like, so I clicked on it because it said he was uncredited. And I was like, why is he uncredited? But his name's right here. And I clicked on it. It's because he's a stunt guy. Yeah, so he had 26 credits as an actor and he had 146 as a stunt guy. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. But he totally, like, he has a name. He has a face, too. But then they throw him down the stairs. And so, because he's in the flashback, now that I'm thinking about it. I thought it was just the guy they throw down the stairs with the hoodie on, but...
I do not know what you're talking about. The guy...
Remember, she shoots a guy.
Yeah.
Toby, how inappropriate could you possibly
be? She shoots a guy.
Anyway, so I thought it was weird that was a stunt double. Moving on. Okay. That was my Silver Globes. That was my exit speech. Toby's cutting me off with the music. And sum it up. Wrap it up. Okay, I'll do another one. This is Dan Cole. He played the fan at the beginning of the episode. He's actually credited as Stan the Fan. I thought that was interesting, but... What the... Yeah, so...
Oh, the guy who Monk was quizzing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, to be fair, I'm kind of at the point this final season. I'm starting to look up everyone because I want to see if they've been in Monk before. So I didn't recognize him, but I looked him up, and he was on The Office. He was on 3 different episodes where they're like in corporate, I guess. But I happened to watch that episode, one of the episodes that he was in today.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Like I watched one episode of The Office today, and he was on that episode. So I was like. Heck? Why does this happen to me?
This always happens.
This always happens to me. It was Launch Party Part 2 because I listened to The Office Ladies, right?
Yeah.
So I watch an episode of The Office that they're going to talk about, and then I listen to it.
Like you guys do.
Like you guys should. Okay. Hint. No, but yeah, so I'm on that episode, Launch Party Part 2 of The Office Ladies. So I watched that episode today, and that's the episode he's on. I'm like, what is happening? So anyway, that's him. If you know The Office, he's the guy who, like, he looks in the webcam and he's like, I don't know how this thing works. Is this thing on? And that's him. He's the same guy in Monk. So there you go. Wow. Okay, who do you have before I take it?
I have the old Chucky Darnes guy.
Oh, really?
Joel. Yeah.
What?
He plays Dopey from The Dark Knight. And his name is Michael Stoyanov.
Interesting. Okay, that's a good one. I like that.
Thank you.
Okay, I have Gary Weeks, who played Mr. Cooper. So he played the dad on the Cooper clan. He was in 24, Veronica Mars, The Office, Parks and Rec, and I recognize him from Nashville. And also, I was going to see, did you recognize him from Outer Banks?
Who?
The dad in the Cooper clan. You know the one where he's giving him the hug? I've never seen Outer Banks, but...
Oh, he's the dad of one. He's like an alcoholic dad, yeah. I think, yeah. Now that you talk about it, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, my last one is Renna Sofer, who played Kim Kelly, which I didn't remember that name at all, but it's Christine's assistant. Okay? I was like, I know, this is the one person out of my whole list that I actually, like, recognized for sure. Like, she's in something, okay? She's on Friends, and when Ross and Rachel are having their baby, she's the girl in the baby store that hits on Ross and asks him out on a date, and Rachel gets all jealous and everything. Okay. Then in Medium, I recognized her.
Oh, wow.
And I recognized her from Medium too. When I saw her credit on Medium, I was like, yes, I'm pretty sure she's a doctor, and she hits on Alison Dubois' husband, Joe. So she hits on Joe in that episode. She hits on Ross in Friends. And then she's also in 24, and she was in like 6 episodes of 24, which we've talked about. And she was Jack Bauer's ex-girlfriend and his sister-in-law. So...
like everything.
Yeah, so she's a tramp in everything I've seen her in. Because she's Jack Bauer's ex-girlfriend, but also his sister-in-law. So that means that it was his brother's wife.
Wow. Wait, so that was the assistant, right?
Yeah, that's the assistant, yeah.
Yeah, she
likes anything in a man. Her line got her. Also, she was in an episode of House, and then I believe she's known for General Hospital. That's what she's known for, which is a soap opera. But I wonder if Toby used to watch that when he was young.
Wow.
Yeah. Shout out Toby and his soap operas. All right. I'm actually done with He's the Guy.
I am too.
Junk time.
Welcome back to my favorite time in years in the show where it's season 8.
Where it is season 8. It's not every time we're in junk time at season 8, but this particular one is. Well, the next 15 times, to be clear.
The rest of the times, no.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Toby is bringing us our stuff now, so I'm sure he will be here momentarily as we discuss our questions for today. And the first one being, what is your favorite TV show? Of course, we both love Monk, right, to death.
Yeah.
So, other than Monk, like excluding Monk, what are our favorite TV shows?
I don't know. I've been getting into Modern Family recently. Like, a lot.
Modern Family, I feel like, is, for one, it's kind of underrated at this point. I think Toby's already here.
Oh my gosh, quick Toby.
Toby's here. Toby's here.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Tobes.
Yeah.
Okay. He brought us s'mores. We got s'mores.
I'm excited.
Yeah, so these are made with mini marshmallows, so like not like one big one. Mini marshmallows and chocolate chips.
Oh god. Oh, good.
Okay, so tips for making s'mores. If you want to make them, you can make them in the microwave. Make sure you don't overcook them because the marshmallows get kind of like a chewy, tacky type. You can kind of feel it, like the texture. I don't mind it because I actually like soft graham crackers. Whereas like if you're cooking at a campfire, you basically only do the marshmallows. If you're skilled, you can melt the chocolate, but the graham crackers are always just hard as a rock. I personally like them soft. You guys know me, I like stale Oreos, so I don't like the, crunch. But if you make them in the microwave, it'll soften the crackers.
I'm dying. That was really good.
All right, our episode 1 snack was a hit.
It was a very good success.
So continue about Modern Family then.
Okay. I don't know. Modern Family just like, I'm not one to be pure comedy based and like, I like story and all that, but it is just too funny. It is too funny. I cannot stop watching it. Just over and over again. Usually it follows like the same simple plot of the episode. There's not like one main story.
It's been a while since I watched Modern Family, but I always feel like everyone is dealing with a similar problem.
Yeah. That's the plot, basically. Everyone has like a similar problem. They somehow all intertwine. And then by the end, they're all together and like...
Which is really creative, really classic. That's like one of those clever things, like I've talked about 24, where you're like, how do you do that? How as a writer do you weave those things back together and all make sense and come together at the end. But even more so is that you also are intertwining jokes and comedy in that. Yeah. And it's just so clever. Yeah, it's been a while since I watched Modern Family. It's actually one of Toby's favorite shows. Mm-hmm. I feel like if I start watching that, I'll put that back on the top of my list, towards the top. But I've more recently finished watching The Middle, and I watched The Middle and Modern Family together, and I love The Middle. I love Patricia Heaton. And which who's friends with Tony Shalhoub actually, but I love Patricia Heaton because I grew up watching Everybody Loves Raymond, so that's definitely one of the top on my list. My absolute all-time favorite is Friends. Classic, I love Friends, and also I Love Lucy. Those are the two shows that I grew up with, around the same time period. I Love Lucy first. It's older, it's more of a classic, and I would watch that every night when I would go to sleep. And then once I was a little bit older, maybe, 9, 10, 11, I really got into Friends. And so Friends is always just my classic go-to. I will say, though, a modern day favorite for me has got to be The Office. Yeah. I think that show is also very clever and is very groundbreaking in I know it's like from the British version, but just that documentary type style. There's so many like that.
It's like Modern Family.
Like Modern Family. But Modern Family came after that. Yeah. So, so it's like The Office is what brought that to America. And so it's a very, like Parks and Rec and all that mockumentary, one camera show. So, yeah. But definitely my favorite of all time is Friends. Then probably I Love Lucy, and then probably The Office. Yeah.
My all-time, Community. I love Community. Oh. Community is just, it holds a special place.
Is that similar to The Office or Parks?
No. I wouldn't say. Actually.
It always seems like it's like Parks and Rec to me. Yeah. But I don't know.
It's close.
I've seen that, but I haven't seen Community.
It's really, really good. There's just so many small jokes, and over the second season, it's like they hypnotize you. It's so weird. You know how you just I don't really like the show, and then you get to the 10th episode and it's like, this is my favorite show. And yeah, there's 8 seasons. 8th season is let's hope that's not what Monk turns out to be. But yeah, it's my favorite show.
That's what happened to The Office too. After Steve Carell left, everyone hates seasons 8 and 9 or whatever.
Donald Glover left, and everyone hates him.
Oh. Interesting. Okay. I will say I don't know how people feel about Friends, but I think Friends ended well. I think it was ending strong, and it was, at the top of its game when it left. I don't think that. And also Monk was a show that ended also. Yeah. It wasn't canceled. So that's always good for a show whenever they get to end on their own terms and stuff. Okay, this might be the same question, but do you have a comfort show?
Yeah, Community.
Community?
Okay. Yeah, I'd say Community. It's just nice. Sit back, relax with your favorite odd bunch, your Cooper clan.
What's funny is I feel like I have an answer, but I feel like honestly, I feel like a lot of people are going to feel this way. Just let me know. But the show that you're watching at the moment is your comfort show. You always there's always this short period of time where you're like, oh, I just finished a show, I need something to watch, and you start watching something. And like you said, you're like, maybe not necessarily I don't like this, but you're like, okay, this is a new show and whatever. And then you're like, I must watch this show. Yeah. And then
it's the honeymoon period.
Yeah. And then if you watch it fast enough, the honeymoon doesn't end. That's what's good about binging. It doesn't take 10 years. It's 10 days. And you're like, oh my gosh. But I get excited, well, I'd kind of rather be home right now because I kind of want to watch fill in the blank. And you're like, no matter what it is, you're like, I want to watch that. And whatever it is, it just at that moment, it makes you feel safe. Yeah. Boy Meets World. I love watching that. Oh, Frasier is one of my all-time favorites. Frasier's really funny. That's a really good comfort show for me to go to sleep to because it's more quiet. Try this one. Whoa. Okay, Toby just brought us he microwaved one of them. Here, I'll give you the good sign. Yes. He microwaved ours, and then he air fried these.
He wants us to try. Yeah, it looks like a campfire one.
Marshmallow texture is better.
I agree.
Because it's not sticky. The graham cracker is warm and crisp, which is like perfect. So if you have an air fryer, pop those bad boys in.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. Dang. That was really good. Okay. But yeah, so Frasier's a really good one for me, and Boy Meets World. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like any show that I'm watching at the time is comfort for me during the day, and any show like I can go to sleep to at night. I can't go to sleep to a new show that I'm watching, like a new one that I haven't seen before. I kind of have to. I can't stop watching it, so I have to turn on something different. But usually those go-to things are Frasier, or sometimes I'll do Monk. Mm-hmm. If I want like some type of mystery, like a case or something. Because other murder shows, I can't do that. I can't go to sleep to any other type of show like that.
It's not.
So if I want, like bloody or anything, so, or screaming or whatever, murders. So this is a good one. But definitely The Office or Frasier is a good one to go to sleep to. So, but I don't know. Let us know what your guys' favorite shows are. Besides Monk, obviously, you're going to be like, I love Monk, but we do too. It's just, we have our own other favorite shows. Oh my gosh. One of my favorite shows is Dancing with the Stars. Mm-hmm. And it's such a comfort show, which I related to Monk, and I can't believe I looked over this. When Monk says that he goes from Tuesday to Tuesday or whatever.
Yeah.
And that gets me to like the next Tuesday. When Dancing with the Stars is on, I feel so inspired by that show that if I'm like feeling down in the dumps, that show will lift me back up.
Yeah.
Like no other show I've ever watched. Like I could be like, man, I don't feel good, or I'm sad about this or whatever. I watch Dancing with the Stars and I see people who are like, yeah, I don't feel good, I'm sad, I'm depressed, but I dance. And they're like, and this is getting me through this and everything. And you're like, if they can do it, I can do it. And then like I could feel terrible, but I get up and like dance with them and stuff. I mean, like that show is so uplifting to me. I can't believe I overlooked that, because when Monk said that about the Cooper clan, I was like, yes, that's how I feel about Dancing with the Stars. And also, I didn't say Friends actually got me through college. Whenever I was really missing home, every night at 10 p.m., me and Toby would watch Friends. Aww. And then my roommate was like, oh, you like Friends? And I was like, I love Friends. And I had decorated my room with Friends posters and stuff. And she was like, oh, I love Friends too. And so all three of us would watch Friends every night at 10. So cute. And then we would, life would be this way.
I did it wrong.
It's okay. Most people do. But it's 4 claps. So I've had a debate. It's 5 claps. I'm like, no, it's not. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's, yeah. So right. Friends got me through college as well. So I do appreciate Friends. Mm-hmm. And yeah. All right. Well, junk time is long, so let's move on to plot holes. All right. How many plot holes do you have?
I have uno.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so maybe
how many do you have?
Actual plot holes probably 3, but I have some other stuff too.
Wow.
Okay. You probably don't have this one. Why is Christine on the gurney at the beginning of the episode? Remember, she's
not even her, yeah.
Yeah, she has her remote control thing, and she's standing around all of those other people, and then she pushes the button and it explodes. And then cut to scene, and she's on the gurney like she's injured somehow. When everyone was literally... And then she hid behind her assistant while it was exploding. She was like, oh my gosh, and got behind her. So I guess she was just being a diva, right? Because there was no reason for her to be on a gurney.
Yeah, that's a good catch. I didn't notice. Nice. You can go again.
Okay. At 12 minutes, 42 seconds, when they're doing that really stupid mirror on the ceiling joke... Mm-hmm. That timestamp, you can see lighting equipment in the mirror that's not the ceiling mirror, but there's a mirror on the wall where they're walking into the bedroom, and you can see all these box lights facing them. I thought that was a pretty good catch. I don't ever catch stuff like that, but I was watching it back and was like, what the heck are those boxes? And rewound it, and sure enough, 12 minutes, 42 seconds.
Oh my gosh.
Lighting equipment.
That's a good one.
Also, sorry, the mirror joke was also done before in Mr. Monk Meets the Playboy. They had this whole joke whenever all the gang goes upstairs and he's with one of his girls or whatever, and he's like, why is there a mirror on the ceiling? And they're like, don't ask or think about it or something. And Monk's like, I don't get it. They did that joke before. So.
Oh my gosh. I didn't even remember that.
Okay, you go.
My plot hole is, okay, so why did she use the same left-hand writing? Why doesn't she just like, it's not hard to disguise your handwriting, right?
Yeah, I mean, to make it different. Well, yeah.
Why would she? Okay, because you use your left hand, which is just stupid, because why would you write normally with your left hand? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And who the frig writes their E's like that? Okay, that's not even the best part. She was like 7 whenever she wrote that.
Yeah.
Your handwriting has gotten better, worse, neither?
That's the plot hole I put, was how did she have the same handwriting as a child as she did as an adult?
Yeah.
To me, that's the biggest plot hole. Mm-hmm. What else were you saying?
Because it's like everything's centered around that.
Well, you did say why would she write her E's like that? But I guess if you're not left-handed and you try to write, and your hand goes a certain way, you would just do whatever you could to write, like, you know what I mean?
I would just like scribble it.
Oh yeah, I guess I did. The first thing you said I didn't follow, which was why would she write with her left hand in the first place?
Like you write with your right hand and then just disguise it. That's what I would do.
Oh, okay, I got what you're saying.
Because they go, the police just go, okay, write with your left hand. She's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. You know what? That's actually good, because if the police said, could you write with your left hand? And you could only write that one way, because you're not as coordinated with your left hand, so then you couldn't write any better or different or worse. You'd be like, oh crap. Like, you can only write one way.
You can't even fake it either.
Yeah, you can't fake it because you're like, oh gosh. Like, you can barely write with your left hand, so that's not bad. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I think we both caught this one, but you guess you didn't write it down. The peanut allergy thing. He calls her out for a plot hole on her show.
Tomato.
And is like, oh, you had a peanut allergy, but then a few episodes
That's
later...
That's probably a callback, I feel like.
There's no way. I think he just did that. I think the writers just did that and not accounting for their own plot holes. Do you think?
I think that was a subtle nod. I'll give it to the writers. There's
no
way
true.
they did
Mr.
that.
Monk on Wheels wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
And then maybe people called them out on it. I don't know. It's just like social media was so different back then. Like, you'd have to go to like chat rooms and like stuff like that to see like what people were saying. You know what I mean? Like intricate stuff like that. I feel like I don't know.
I feel like they're too smart to be like, yo, imagine being that dumb and not being like,
yeah, we do that all the time.
It's funny because we did that. Yeah,
that's true. Okay, my next one is a callback to the Brady Bunch. Actually, they did the joke.
Yeah.
But did you get the joke when she says, everything's always about Adrian. Adrian.
No.
So there's like a super famous line in Brady Bunch where the middle child, the girl, Jan, she's always jealous, or she's jealous of her older sister because she's the older one, she's prettier. And so Jan is like, oh, everything's always about Marcia. And it's a super famous line.
Aww.
And so that's what they were doing.
That's cute.
So that was a callback to that. And then also, I know you saw this one too. The Condor sweatshirt.
Oh, yeah.
The Condor's hoodie. He totally had that. Okay, and then my last one is... Wait,
are you going to say where it was?
Where the Condor's hoodie was? Oh, I'm sorry. It was the Tomlinson? What's his name?
I don't remember his name. The guy who fell down the stairs.
Yeah, she shoots him, and then whenever he falls down the stairs, he's at the bottom of the stairs dead, and you can see his sweatshirt says Condors on it.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah.
I'm proud of them.
And remember the fact that I said during the wrap up that they made all that swag?
Yeah. They probably had some left over, yeah.
They had some. They probably had tons, and we're like, use this. Monk's wearing it next episode. I don't know how we're going to do this, but we're going to do it. All right, my very last one is, okay, so you're following this logic. You got to remember, if you haven't seen it in a while, you probably won't follow this. But, so what happens is, Monk is watching the Cooper clan, and he sees the character write with her left hand, right?
Yeah.
And he figures it out. What does he figure out in that moment?
The exact same handwriting.
Right? Yeah. So he knows that she wrote the note. Like, she wrote the thing. Okay, so then, in your head, aren't you thinking she's the guy?
Yeah.
She's guilty. So then why is the next thing that they do
Go investigate?
go to Timelson's house?
That's what I was thinking. They never hey, Captain, we have a lead on this. Here's all the information we know.
Christine did it.
Now we're going to go do something risky. No?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we figured it out. Let's go to his lair.
But but you get my point is that
Yeah.
they figured out Christine was the guy, yet they went to Timelson's house.
Yeah.
Why would they do that? They didn't call the captain and tell him. For plot convenience, because they go in his house, they find the ballots, and then Christine is in there and hits Monk over the head. Mm. So, yeah, because you figured out she was the guy, and she went into his apartment looking for the same thing. Yeah, that I didn't. I thought that was a pretty good one. That's pretty plot convenience there. Mm-hmm. So
I agree. That's a good one.
Okay, I am done with blows.
Okay then.
How crazy was Monk this episode?
Plus crazy moments.
Okay, out of 10 what?
Out of 10. This one's really easy. Out of 10 page 73s.
Oh, page 73s. I like that one. Okay, out of 10 Monk froze.
Aww.
He had a huge afro and it was so good. And it was funny because I thought about it and I was like, for some reason I feel like I've done Monk froze before. And it was in Mr. Monk and the Actor. Mm-hmm. When the guy wears the afro to be like Monk, and then this one also about an actor, they show off his afro. So that was funny. Okay, so crazy moments. He's second in line, which means he's last. He's mildly obsessed. Okay, yeah, he's obsessed. What is her name? I said is. Okay, he's never gonna throw away his wipe that Christine touched. He thinks he's gonna pay them $1,000. Okay. Surprise alert warning. And the surprise alert. And then the surprise. Is that hot tea? Dump it in my eyes. Keep the change. Wait, how much was it? No, keep it. And then it was 12 cents. Remembers all the lines after 35 years after watching it one time. His whole dream. This whole family is wacko. All the applause and the hug and the trophies. And the last one is Charles Dickens is a classic. All right. Out of 10 page 73s.
I'm going to go with a 7. Actually, that seems a little high. I might just go for a 6.5.
What's your reasoning? What?
Well, because, you have the usual, Monk being quirky and stuff with 3, maybe 4. And then 1 or 2, maybe 2.5 for him being this. I mean, people are super fans.
Yeah.
But not this super fan-y,
Okay.
So, I think a 6.5 is pretty good.
Okay. Out of 10 Monk froze, I'm going with 5.
5.
I put not crazy, just a fan.
Oh.
That's what he says. I feel like you were kind of saying it but I feel like you either fangirl or you don't. Mm-hmm. Like, you either are someone who's going to be able to be super cool around a celebrity, or you're just not going to be able to. And I'm sorry, I just love you so much. You mean so much to me. And for as much as the show obviously meant to him.
Yeah.
Just, I think that he wasn't. I gave him literally a 5 because it's there's super fans and then there's cool. And he was right, he was right in the middle. He could have gone one way or the other. So I gave him 5. You know what I mean? I feel like a normal person could have been that crazy around someone that they really, really admired and cared about. So right. I didn't give him a 1 for anybody could have been that way. A 1. I gave him a 5 because he's still fangirled. Yeah. But not a 10. That was crazy. No one would do that. They totally would. So
I think you're completely right, but he also just took it just a little too extreme.
Well, because I didn't really factor in the fact that he doesn't have social norms.
Yeah.
So, he didn't catch that she was how she was or anything. So, and was uninterested in watching the Cooper clan.
Yeah.
He didn't catch that stuff. So yeah, I get what you're saying.
You ready?
Yeah. Rate this episode. Okay, Noah. So I read the synopsis, so you should go first.
I'm gonna be honest, guys. I didn't like this. It was too out of my monk comfort zone.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just so unexpected, and I don't want season 8 to look like this. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I have mixed feelings. It was funny, but not really that funny in the moment. Like, it's funny looking back on it.
Yes, exactly.
But I wasn't, laughing that hard.
Yeah, while it was happening, it was too awkward, yeah.
It was very awkward. I don't know.
It's funny that you mentioned that it's, like, out of your monk comfort zone when, obviously, everything that was happening was out of Monk's comfort zone.
Yeah.
But the jokes were over him for most of it because he didn't read the book and he didn't understand what was going on. Mm-hmm. So it was, like, the whole episode was out of his league, whereas, like, the naked man, he saw the naked man from pretty much the very beginning.
Yeah.
And then so the whole episode was, like, he's like, I hate naked people. And so, again, we didn't like that episode either, though.
Yeah.
So... But at least Monk was in on that, I guess. But I did like this better than The Naked Man.
Yeah.
I did, for sure.
I literally, after watching that, the first time, I was like, that is the worst Monk episode I've ever seen.
You thought it was worse than
I was,
Underwater?
literally going to cry, yeah.
Oh.
I thought it was worse than Underwater, initially.
Okay. I would much rather watch this one. Like, much, way more.
Wow.
Me, yeah.
No.
I think it was just a little adult. I think it was an adult theme. It probably is a good, I don't think Christine Rapper, what's her name? Rapper?
It's a rapper.
What is it?
Christine Rapper?
Rap. Because I keep wanting to say Rappaport, like Michael Rappaport.
Do not know who that is.
Okay, he's a famous guy. He's like a celebrity, C-list celebrity?
D-list?
C-list?
D-list is what we're like D-list.
I think we're like Z-list, but... Anyways, Christine Rapp, I have no clue what I was talking about.
I know.
I don't know if she's famous, like the actress that plays her.
Oh, yeah.
But it was probably a very, adult way to, get some new viewers or something.
Yeah.
This salacious tell-all book. Come see what's on Monk. I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking, honestly.
I don't.
Because I'm not sure that she's that famous enough to do a whole episode around her. I don't know her, so.
Yeah. I just hope this is season 7 where it was a miss first episode.
Yeah.
And everything else is good.
Yeah.
Because, I didn't hate this, but I didn't love it.
Yeah.
So
what's your score then?
It's just so hard.
It's so hard to give out the first one. It is really hard.
I feel like you're going to rate it really, really, really high. Not really high, but just a 6, which is high for this in my book.
Whoa. Okay.
What?
You think a 6 is high?
I think a 6 is high for this. I'd say right now I'm feeling a 4, 3.5, 4.5.
You rated Underwater a 7.
Yeah, but that was because I was young and dumb. I'm trying to make season 8 better, Kandyce. And remember we were Underwater, why did we rate it so high? I'm trying to think about this more.
Yeah, but you also can't go so low because then what happens in the next episode
when it's worse?
If it's worse, and then you're you're not going to give an episode a 3 or a 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be more average, I think.
I'll give it a 5. 5 is low. 5 is very low. I think it deserves a 5.
Okay. I'll be honest and say that I didn't particularly like the risque tell-all theme of this episode. And watching it with Noah made it a lot less funny and appropriate. But upon the rewatch by myself, I chuckled quite a bit more and enjoyed it a lot more. So I can see how it would be not good and boring for someone your age, or specifically you, I guess. And the episode did drag on.
So.
However, the last 12 minutes is all of the summation and all of the 70s thing which was really good.
Yeah.
And so it's right at the point where you felt like the episode was dragging on, it picked up in a really good way. And again, I did laugh at all the innuendo jokes. They were funny. on retrospect, Randy's little theory. He had the surprise alert, how happy Monk was with the trivia guy and getting to hang out with her. I think she messed up the episode. Like, I think if it had maybe been, like, it was a really good premise. I don't know how else they could have done it as far as, like, I don't know, a different actress or a different theme. Like, not an adult theme to the book. Like, something else that would have made Monk hate her that didn't have anything to do with...
Like she just, like, spent, like, a few years as a hobo or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Or a nudist or
yeah,
like, I'm a good person now, but back then, or, or something, but she was still just so sleazy and stuff that it was just like, eh. And I mean, she did end up being a murderer, so I guess it is good that you didn't like her and then she was a murderer. I didn't really look at that perspective, but yeah, I don't know. I definitely don't think it deserves a 5, because again, I'm going to go for something more average. But I did enjoy the episode, and I do like that it is about a TV show and stuff. And we did get a lot of happy monks. So I'm going with, and for those, if you're new listening here, welcome to the show. And just so you know, I give all monk episodes a 10 because I genuinely think they all deserve a 10. So I give them a nice even 10. And then I work up from there. So Noah will be the converter for us. All right, so I'm giving this episode a 10.8.
Whoa.
Yeah.
8 out of 10?
Yeah. I gave Buys a House a 7.5, and I liked it better than that.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, I don't know. It might be too high, but I feel like yours is too low. So we could have totally just screwed ourselves over in this very first episode. But
it's like a 6.5. That is way too good for this episode. Kandyce. Honestly, if they could have taken, like, half of this episode and, like, how long it felt and just slapped it on the end of Genius,
I would petition for that. Wait, guys, let's redo this. I know it's been, like, 15 years, but let's just give this a second thought. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to change mine, I think. I'm going to go 7.5.
Our hero.
Because I did rate, because I keep comparing it to Buys a House, but I also think I rated that one too high also. So I don't want to do the same thing I did last season, but it is better than that one, so I'm going to rate it a 7.5. And then be able to play with that scale from there. So.
Okay.
And also, if you're new to the show, the reason that we're being so picky about this is because we rate each season, or each episode, and then at the end of the season, we can't change our numbers. We just have to go with whatever we said.
Yeah.
So in 16 weeks from now, this number will matter.
Yeah.
So that's why we're being so picky.
Yeah.
So thank you for bearing with us. And if you're still here, welcome once again. All right. That means we're done, though. We're done.
Finally.
Yep. We actually had our basketball game. We didn't mention that.
In between.
We had our first game of the season.
Remember whenever we did plot holes? Yeah. We left.
We're showing them how the pudding is made.
Kandyce, you didn't have to
is that a thing? The pudding is made?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Is it
how the movie is made? How the
hot dog's made? Sausage is made. How the sausage is made. That's it.
How the czar is made. Hot dog czar.
Yeah. So tell them about your game. Did you win?
I destroyed them. I scored 50 points, and the other team scored 0.
All right. His team scored 50 points.
Okay.
How many points did you have, though?
I had 5 whole points.
He did. He hit a 3-pointer and a layup. It was sick.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Maybe I'll post it.
No.
Why not?
Do you have a video of it?
Really, bro? We don't even check Insta. I totally tagged you.
Wait, what? Oh, it looks even better. I'm so proud.
Noah's watching his video.
Okay, I'm posting it on my story. That's so embarrassing. I'm going to say hashtag drain.
I'll share it this week. Remind me so I can show you Noah hitting his 3-pointer.
Mm-hmm.
All right, don't let us forget about it. Unless you don't care. I'll post it anyway. All right, guys. We'll see you for episode 2. This was not the best start for the season, but I think it was better than last season.
I agree.
I think so. I think it's better than Buys a House. So I'm not mad at it. Let's continue on. The episodes will only get better from here. Let's do this thing. All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
I'm ready. I'm so ready.
I'm ready too.
Can we?
All right, let's go.
Bye.
Bye. Our last season opener. Bye.
Whoa, that was so sad.
That is
Why'd
sad.
you have to say that?
Well.
You just dragged this on.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right, bye.
Okay, bye. We didn't suit that. Okay, sorry.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Junk Monk Podcast. We'd love to hear from you, so please give us a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, follow us at Junk Monk Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
If you want to know more about Kandyce, she's at Hardens and Hardhats on Instagram. And if you want to know more about me, Noah L., subscribe to my vlog, Noah Hernandez, on YouTube. Also, you can leave us a voicemail at 323-366-0477 with your questions, comments, or just to show us some love.
Don't forget to catch up on Monk with Amazon Prime Video, and of course, subscribe to our show.
You'll thank me later.